welcome back. We're here for the last training session. The last training session we'll be vlogging anyways, before the competition. Might have a day of like just some accessory stuff to kind of keep moving throughout the week, but today we'll go through and we'll hit squat opener and bench opener. And that's pretty much the session at this point. We're getting into what's called the taper, meaning that we're gonna try to maintain some intensity, pull back quite a bit on the volume, and ensure that we're coming into the meet recovered, but not undertrained. Tapering is a bit of an art, and it takes a while to kind of perfect your strategy depending on how you like to taper and depending on the athlete's individual response. This is the best way for me. Basically just openers Monday, maybe another session of like going through the movements, doing some light warm-ups one other day throughout the week, and that's probably about it. I have some lifters who I coach who will do pretty much full-blown training throughout the week. I have two lifters competing this weekend actually, and both tapering very, very differently. Three lifters, because one of them's competing in Australia. But yeah, should be good, feeling good. Knees a little swollen, a little stiff from the big deadlift on Saturday. I think probably, normally I would take my deadlift opener, but I think the big rest between the previous week and Saturday's session was very good for the deadlift. So I think leaving it alone till Sunday when I compete is going to be the play. So follow along, enjoy. Note the new Calgary Barbell meat shirts that will be available soonish TM. And yeah, let's go. So that was squat opener, 297.5, which, meant to do that, which hopefully sets me up for a good squat on the day. And it moved like the tiniest little bit slower than I would have been super happy about, which is perfect. Because I'm starting to learn, after that deadlift on Saturday, I now know that I can actually trust those trends and those things that are usually the case, you know, the things that I sometimes have a hard time listening to, even if it's happened in a very specific way over and over and over and over again. Is everybody getting dizzy? Was this shot a bad idea? But yeah, everything felt good. Knee felt great. Body's holding up. Done squats pretty much for the prep. I think, I don't know, I might have some real easy work to do on like Friday. Might just kind of go in, move around, like go through my warm-ups or something. But other than that, we're just resting. Relax, and considering I just had a big deadlift 2 days ago, biggest squat of prep earlier that week, I think where that was intensity-wise sets me up for a perfect little taper. So I actually feel really good about it. And after plugging my numbers in for bench, my bench opener is a little lower than I thought it would have to be to hit what I want. So I'm actually kind of stoked about that, because I feel like that gives me, I guess, I don't know if it's better odds, but it just is going to give me better fifis. I'm going to feel a little better taking a bit of a lighter bench, hopefully just absolutely smoking it, and a lot more confidence from today and opening on the day. So yeah, we're gonna work up and go through to my bench opener. And then that's it. That's it. So we got some questions that we farmed for on Instagram. And we're going to answer a couple of those in the downtime and just kind of go through it here. So tag along and enjoy. Enjoy the ride.
Okay, I got your first question. You ready?
Sure. Hit me with it.
Why Death Guard?
Oh, you're going right to the good stuff, eh? Why Death Guard? So for those who don't know,
The Death Guard is a faction of Chaos Space Marines in the universe of Warhammer 40K. So scroll ahead a little bit if you're not into like deep nerd shit. But essentially, you know me. You know, I like the edgy guy stuff. So I was naturally attracted to the bad guys in the whole conflict. Well, I think everybody's a bad guy in Warhammer, but anyways, the thing that really got me was their sort of philosophy of winning wars by attrition. And there's a trait or whatever it's called, I don't know, for the army when you're playing the tabletop game called disgustingly resilient. And basically they're just, you know, that's the lore, is that they can't be killed. You know, they just win by overwhelming their opponents with slow, like methodical, plodding, unwavering, inevitable pressure. And I like that. I really like that. I like the idea of the resilience, obviously, big thing that we like around here. But also just the idea that, like, I don't know, you can't be killed. I'm not dead yet, you know? I think I identified with that, and also I just think they look really freaking cool. And the whole like plague god stuff is it's kind of neat. So yeah, I'm a huge nerd. I got into playing Kill Team, which is like a spin-off of Warhammer 40K with a buddy of mine, a couple buddies of mine. Maybe a little while ago. If you follow me on Instagram, you probably saw me posting a lot of painting and stuff. I really enjoy that. Really enjoy painting minis as a hobby. I think hobbies are important for powerlifters outside of lifting. Maybe more so for somebody who works in powerlifting and is a powerlifter. I think it's important to have kind of a distraction. For a lot of people, powerlifting probably is the hobby, so anyways.
Suggestions for someone with arthritis wishing to still pursue powerlifting as a hobby.
Hey, I got some of that. I got a bunch of it, I think. As far as I know, and if you're smarter than me, correct me, that's fine. Arthritis is essentially inflammation. And depending on how aggressive the arthritis is and how trained or not trained you are, strength training can actually help arthritis symptoms. In relatively untrained populations, adding strength training can really help. I think the biggest thing that I've noticed with my knee is that keeping it moving, although not necessarily under load, is probably one of the best things I can do for it. So on any day where I'm not training it, I will do a couple rounds of 10 of bodyweight squats throughout the day. I'll do some other work with my hips, both stretching and some little isometrics and stuff like that. And not because those movements inherently provide any single value that, X, Y, or Z muscle is asleep and you need to wake it up or whatever. But those exercises work insofar as they give me movement, right? They make muscles kind of pull on that joint a little bit. They move things around. They apply and relieve tension and pressure. And those kinds of very sort of gradual and maybe small level changes over time can help your body adapt to the demands you put on it. So as somebody with a bunch of arthritis in my knee, I've had to really learn to appropriately time my heavy exposures and understand that I probably can't train super heavy all of the time. If you followed along with this prep, you know I started with 2 blocks ago, I think like a 270 squat was my top single. I think maybe even 260, 265. Fast forward to 2 blocks and I'm at 310. You know, it's finding the right dose. And I think it applies to arthritis the same way as it applies to most, you know, sort of injury and pain symptoms, where you're just trying to find the threshold. You're trying not to piss it off too much, you know. If you go in to do a session and it hurts like hell, modify the range of motion, do something else, push back a day, you know, lighten it up a whole bunch, whatever it is, so that you don't make it angry. And, you know, probably consult a doctor or a physio or something, ideally somebody who has experience with lifters, who's not going to tell you, well, stop lifting, that'll make it better, because that's terrible advice. If you hear that from somebody, I probably wouldn't go back to them. This is not medical advice. This is not medical advice. But, yeah, that's my take on dealing with arthritis.
Do you have a go-to bulking meal? The question was go-to bulking meal, but I don't even know if you have one. If you were to have one.
Honestly, I just like to eat really palatable foods. I think that cooking frequently helps with bulking, because one of the mistakes I made early on was I would meal prep for like a week. And that might be the way that people do it, and that's fine. I feel like that was a hindrance to me, having the same meal every lunch for a week or every dinner for a week. And because my wife is a refined eater and really doesn't like to repeat the same meals, I've kind of fallen into step with her. And what I find is I'm excited about the meal that we eat. We eat it for dinner, we eat it for lunch the next day, and then we make a new dinner the next night. So we basically meal prep for one day for each of us, and we cook pretty much every night of the week. So I think one of the things you can do for yourself, if you're trying to bulk, or if you're trying to cut for that matter, is put some time into your skill when it comes to cooking. Put some time into the kitchen. Spend some time there. Learn how to cook, you know. Understand what flavors you like and what foods are going to be really high calorie, or if you're cutting, you know, really low calorie and are still going to appeal to your palate. Because I think if you can get those things, you can start to build up sort of a repertoire. And that's, you know, again, why I don't really have a go-to bulking meal other than maybe like ice cream and pretzels. But don't do as I say, not as I do. That is not a meal. You know, understand what you like and the macro breakdown of those things. You'd be much better able to manipulate your body weight and body composition in either direction.
But
if
you were to go somewhere to get a lot of calories in right now, say you needed to get, I don't know, 2,000 calories in. It's like bedtime. And you can go you can teleport anywhere. So like travel isn't an issue. Where would you go to get your calories in?
See, I always want to respond with pizza, but I feel like I can never usually eat enough pizza to make it like that high calorie.
I thought you liked Phil's.
Phil's, yes. Yeah. Yeah, I'd probably go with breakfast foods. I'd eat, you know, eggs on toast, cooked in butter, hash browns, deep fried, bacon, bunch of bacon, milkshake, whipping cream, you know, some waffles with syrup and whipped cream on it.
Beef chubby.
Yeah, some chubbies. which are meat medallions that you can get here at a restaurant called Phil's. I miss the Chub Club. Some of my buddies, we used to lift every Saturday or Sunday, and then we'd all go to Phil's, and we'd get the same like breakfast, and it came with these things called Chubbies. So we started calling ourselves the Chub Club. And I miss those guys. Yeah, breakfast for dinner. There's your hack.
Last question. Gonna be trying a comp at some point. Am I gonna have to buy a singlet?
So, do you need a singlet to compete? Yes. Do you need to buy one? No. I would look around on Facebook Marketplace or Kijiji, borrow one from a friend. If there's a powerlifting gym you go to, maybe ask around. See if you can borrow one. You know, if it's your first meet, you're not sure if you like the sport yet, maybe you don't want to invest a bunch of money into it. So try it out. Once you do, yeah, you probably want a singlet. You gotta wear it when you compete. You gotta look good, lift good, all that stuff. So I think there are some federations where maybe you can, you know, do t-shirt and shorts for your first comp. But as far as I know, in the IPF and all of its affiliates, you will need to compete in a singlet. So, that's it. Bench opener's done. It moved a little slower than I would have liked, which I think if I can lean on every meet I've ever done, then that's perfect. So, feeling good. Feeling like we're in a good spot. Knee actually feels better after squatting today, which tracks as well. So yeah. That's it. We're headed into the meet. If you want to tune into the live stream, which you should, you can go to the Canadian Powerlifting Union YouTube channel, and I'm going to get Dylan to put a link in the description with a direct link to the playlist for Westerns. It's going to be a good, high-quality stream, thanks to the one and only Mr. Pete Spence. And yeah, we'll see y'all out there. Wish me luck. Bye.